Hello, this is Roland, Cisco Switzerland. I wanted to give you a quick introduction into Thousandeyes. During the last few weeks or months since Cisco acquired Thousandeyes, I have seen quite a few presentations in regards of this tool, this application, and I realized I never saw what was actually important to me, like what is important to me as a collaboration person for like home office use, which would be like an introduction into the Thousandeyes tool, what it does, and also a little demo on how I can use it for home office purposes. So therefore, let me quickly show you the interface, how it looks like. So this is my PC, so I log into a demo account of Thousandeyes. I first of all get a dashboard which shows me all the tests I set up with my agents, and I'll get a quick overview of how the services I predefined to be shown on the dashboard, how they are, how the service quality is. So let me start with the various agents there are available. So first of all, there is two types of like dedicated agents. So there is a cloud agent and there is a enterprise agent. So when I go and open this section in the menu here, I'll see what these agents are doing for me. So a cloud agent is an agent which is sitting somewhere in the cloud and I can tell it to do measurements for me. An enterprise agent is an application running on a VMware host or as a container or on some network device and runs probes from there. So what I did is I set up both like a few cloud agents tests and a few enterprise agent tests. So let's have a look at the default one, which is coming up first here. So it's, I guess, most interesting for you if you have your services you're using or your users are using on a daily basis to be monitored. So in this case, it would be like Microsoft Office 365 login. I can see the service availability, it's green. I can see the response time around the globe is also okay, I would say. So people are probably... So this Microsoft Office 365 login is monitored by cloud agents. I can see like where all these agents are here. So they're like spread around the globe. Then I have set up a probe against a service with my own agent. So I have installed an agent in my basement, a virtual machine. So this agent is actually monitoring this website, seeing like, okay, it's an HTTP server, and I have an overview on the network here. I can have a historical view on the latency, as well on the jitter, and I can see where my packets are traveling from my home office to the location where the server is sitting at. I have some additional tests set up, which are in this case also like the WebEx Meetings launch page. So I can see, okay, from my home office, it's taking two different paths until it reaches the servers. I have also set up a probe against the zip server. So I would like to see what is the jitter against this zip server. I would like to see the latency I have against this like Swiss local server, and I think this is an important option to have available for my zip service to be available for my users, or what the availability is for this server. Then I also have set up some voice quality measurements, so I can, from my enterprise agent, set up a probe against a cloud agent, for example, so I can see how the voice quality would be from my enterprise agent into the cloud, which in this case it is quite good. So I have a mean opinion score of 4.4 throughout the day. It's quite reliable and good. I have a latency of 13 milliseconds to this agent, 15 milliseconds, and I set up another little probe against cloud agent in the US on the West Coast. So I have the same mean opinion score, so it's quite good quality connection, and I have a latency which is much higher, of course, because it is on a different continent, much further away. These agents can not only monitor services, they can also monitor devices. So on the devices, I have here a list of devices defined in my home network, which I am monitoring from this enterprise agent. So when I go here on this device table, I can actually see that my main switch, my wireless LAN controller, my NAS, and my printer are monitored via SNMP. I have here for the wireless LAN controller a little bit more information. For example, I can see that the throughput is up to 30 megabits per second. I can also see what the CPU load is on this wireless LAN controller. So it's a little busier during the day, 12%, and during the night when I'm sleeping as well, it goes down to below 10%. Then the most interesting part, I believe, for a collaboration specialist in the times where people are working from home, is the desktop agent. So there are agents available for Windows and for Mac OS. The agents are installed, deployed on the laptop, and then they are providing data to this cloud service. So what it shows first is the results of a third agent, which would be like a browser plugin in Chrome. So what I can do is I can define certain domains where I analyze the response times of these websites of my users, meaning it will result in experience score, meaning I have defined cisco.com to be a monitored website, and I can see that the experience score is very high, so the responsiveness of this website is quite fast, and I can also see what the latency jitter or the response times are for this website. Then the desktop agent has additional functionality, like I run probes against certain services, which are in this case Gmail. I can see the loss against Gmail, for example, or I can have a look at the packet loss. I can have a look at the latency, so I can see these the latency is varying throughout the day. So I can see, okay, so at night it is quite a low latency of 12 milliseconds, and as soon as people start to wake up, so around let's say 8 here, the latency starts to increase quite a lot. I can then select one point in time and see, okay, like 58 milliseconds response time or latency is quite high. Why did that happen, or why is it so high? So okay, I go down here and see, okay, there is one of the devices has showing me a latency of 9 milliseconds, which is excellent. Then I go further up here and I see like, oh wow, okay, 83 milliseconds. So that's maybe a little bit higher than I expected, but I can also immediately see these two devices are using a VPN connection. So it seems my VPN connection has quite an effect on the latency of the result, or of the connection into the target. I like click on it and I see, okay, there is one device, my private MacBook Pro, which has like 43 milliseconds, and another one which has 123 milliseconds latency, so that's quite high. I would further like to know, how does this result come into how do we get to this result? So I can say like show traceroute output, so I can see exactly where are these results coming from and what the single traceroute has given me back as a result. So that's quite interesting. I can dig quite deep into this, so I can also like have a look at where the packets are going through, what way they are taking, and so on. So this I can do for Gmail. I can also do it for Zipcall, this being a Swiss telephony service, and I can see here, okay, again it's like 63 milliseconds, so it is quite high, but again it's like going through the VPN connection. Another service I monitor is the WebEx service here, for example. So what is the response time for this WebEx service? I can see, okay, availability is great, but what about the response time of my WebEx service I would like to, or I'm monitoring here, the service my users are actually using. I can see here the latency, and I can again see, okay, there are a few devices, one of them using again the VPN, and the other ones which are not using the VPN are much faster, so they are getting to this service a little bit quicker than via the VPN. For me, like the most interesting part is what about the local network? What can the tool provide me in terms of the of knowledge about the local network of somebody? Let's say somebody's calling and says like, my connection is bad, my voice connection is bad, I would like to I don't know, I'm not happy with the telephony or with the WebEx service, so it's crap, and then you can go ahead and say like, okay, let me have a look at what might cause this challenge. And then you can go and see like, okay, this person had a gateway loss which is quite small, has a gateway latency, or this like group of people have a gateway latency which is varying. So 19 milliseconds for the local gateway is quite high. Let's see what else we can say here. The wireless signal quality, it looks quite good here, so that's almost 100%. But when I dig into these agents here, then I can see, okay, so still 23 milliseconds is quite high for latency to my local gateway. So it will show me exactly like what the wireless signal quality was for that certain agent, for that PC. I can see here, okay, it's like 60% only. It's using a certain channel. It has whatever noise, which is still okay. So I can be more specific in terms of what might cause this challenge. So let me go back and see what the signal quality is for the other users. So I can see, okay, I have a gateway latency which is better, which is like 2 milliseconds here, and for this one it's like 36 milliseconds, which is not that great, but I can see these have a better wireless LAN signal quality. When I go into the wireless area, because that's how most people work these days, I can see like which channel these agents are using, what the transmit rate is, what the throughput is of these devices combined. So I can see, okay, wow, that's like almost 60 megabits per second downloaded. I can break it down to each of the agents itself. I can also go ahead and have a look at the amount of roaming events. So if I have a lot of roaming events, it means like I have multiple access points which are more or less in the same area, in the same range, and therefore they may cause some connection loss. I have the option to see like channel swap events. So when I have a lot of disturbance in the Wi-Fi, channels might move around fairly often, and this may also cause the audio video quality to suffer from that. And also like retransmission rate, which would also be a challenge then. The gray line you can see here is the amount of agents which are picking up these results, which are generating these results. I can use here, and I also have the possibility to define filters. So just how is this set up? So just to summarize, I really I like how well this works. It's quite amazing the data you get down to a single device. How can I set up such agents? I basically say, okay, I would like to add a new agent, then you download the MSI for Windows or for the Mac, the package. You send this to the user installs it, and then the agent automatically registers to this service. So it's really straightforward and easy. The user doesn't even have to enter anything while installing this application. It's great. There is like a few weeks trial available in this application, so you can go ahead and just play around with it as I did. It's important to like play around with it a little bit to figure out what is actually the best tests to run. So that's important. And there is like a starter package with like a 1 month service available, which helps you to set your environment up in the right way. Thank you very much for watching. I hope it was of value, and looking forward to see you in my next video. Thank you very much. Bye bye.